We know that personality tests can be a valuable tool for self-awareness. In this episode, we're going to tackle everything from Disney princesses to the Christian horoscope Enneagram.
Welcome back to Season 3, Episode 1 of the Purpose Pro podcast. Our mission is to connect you to your unique design and purpose. So if you love learning simple and effective ways to lead yourself and others well, this podcast is for you. And in Episode 1, we have a very energetic guest. She's already laughing. I haven't even said nothing.
Not even energetic. It's like
She's gonna bring it.
Okay.
She is a pastor, communicator.
I love hearing other people describe me.
I know. I'm just going to pause after every one.
Okay,
just
do
to
that.
Do I get your approval?
Yes.
A pastor, communicator,
Okay.
a new author.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That one's
weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trying it out for the first time.
Made it awkward. Yeah.
Yep. And in my opinion, it's a talent for really inspiring others and helping them find their groove. Kind of not like the Emperor's New Groove, but
which I feel like is actually the worst Disney movie. Because I know I know people who love it. I know. I'm sorry. I tried to watch it.
Yeah.
And it's terrible.
Yeah, it is bad.
And there's a reason when you go to if you go to Disney World, they don't feature it at all. It's not even you don't even know they did it.
It's like they didn't make it.
They did, yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Didn't they make a second one?
Emperor's New Groove. I just stopped after halfway into the first one. I was like, this is terrible. And I like David Spade.
That is David Spade.
Yeah. See?
Ladies, I was just watching Bachelor in Paradise last week. And I was like, I know David Spade. I know he's famous, but what the heck was he in?
All those grown-up movies or whatever.
And yeah, he's
I also
Adam
never
Sandler's
saw those.
guy.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
now
yeah.
Emperor's New Groove.
Okay. Yep.
So
okay, in case anyone's wondering, her name is Jennifer Mazzola.
Yep.
I want to get that out. Remember that name. And welcome.
Thank you.
It's going to be hard to get her to talk on this podcast, but we got some good questions for you. Yeah. Okay, so here we're jumping into this we want to talk about the Enneagram. So before this episode is over, if you've never taken the Enneagram before, it's okay because you can go take it afterwards because you're going to remember the number. Because Jen has something specific and good to say to every single person that's listening.
Okay.
I love it. I already know what you're going to say before you say it. It's going to be good.
Because I sent you notes.
Yeah, because you sent me notes. But before we go there, I want to talk about this personality kind of tests in general. Mm-hmm. Are they useful? Are they not useful? How do we use them for ourselves, for others? And before we even go there, since we're talking about Disney, you made us take a Disney princess quiz.
So I'm going to argue, right, that all personality tools are good. My favorite happens to be the Enneagram, but I love all of them, especially BuzzFeed quizzes.
Okay.
Like what Harry Potter house are you?
Hogwarts.
What do your pizza toppings say about you? But I specifically wanted you and Zach to really kind of dive into your own leadership and your own personality, just for self-improvement purposes, particularly the BuzzFeed quiz, which Disney princess are you?
Yeah.
And the results?
Yeah, well, they completely got it wrong. So I got Belle.
I think they got it completely right.
He got Mulan.
I got Mulan.
And I think I was taking the quiz with him in mind.
Okay.
And he was taking it with me in mind.
Okay.
No.
And it just, we need to switch.
See, I think it just cut through everything. It knows.
Wow.
It knows your closet.
Got to the heart. Got to the core.
At
Peeled
the core,
back all
Joe
of
is
the
Belle
layers.
at the ball. Yeah.
Yes.
You're the belle to my beast, Joe. No, that's weird. That was weird in that movie. That's still weird now.
Wait. What were you? You made us take it. What were you?
I did. I'm Jasmine every time. I tried to take it again, and I actually don't really necessarily agree with my description in that either. But I think that all those things are fun.
Okay.
Right. And I think that any of them give you kind of so all of them, Myers-Briggs, the 4 temperaments. I mean, there's a million of them. Enneagram, Myers-Briggs, Parker Team Survey. There's just a gazillion, right? And they all kind of in my mind, turn like a prism, and it gives you one different angle of you. So they're all super valuable, and especially because you spend a lot of time helping develop leaders. And so if my leadership struggles continue to pop up in different different office settings or in different scenarios, or maybe I'm, find myself, just reoccurring like dramas or tensions around my leadership, is probably because I'm the common denominator. Right. So the better I know myself, regardless of what tool I use, because I know that you have beef with the Enneagram.
I mean, I just don't find it as useful and as other tests.
Because you've used it.
I've looked at it. I haven't studied it like I have the other ones, but I feel like it deals more with the psychological nature of our being, and it's interesting, but I don't walk away from it thinking, what do I do next? Or I have solid direction on what to do next. It's just telling me how messed up I got as a kid.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
so you did kind of dig in a little bit. So you didn't just like go online, take the test, and then be done.
Yeah.
You actually did kind of press in. But Zach, you like it.
I do. Yeah, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
And I've done Myers-Briggs and Strength Finders and some of these other things also. I like because I like the Enneagram because it taps into what motivates me. Some things that were set in motion when I was a kid. So
That's so bellish of you, though. And
exactly,
that is so Mulan of you to be like, it doesn't matter what happened. I've got to go fight the war.
For the rest of what we talk about in this episode, I want to filter it through Zach's trauma.
Okay.
If we can.
Okay.
Okay.
We're going to be here a while.
The Enneagram for sure does kind of start from that point.
Okay. Well, so I want to. You're writing a book on personalities.
You keep coming back to this.
I want
even in previous conversations, I was like, Joe, that's like a year from even remotely being done.
I know, but what's the concept of the book? Let's talk about that, because I think it speaks into, obviously this personalities in this conversation. So why the book?
So I'm working on I don't know what we're going to call it yet. I'll probably let you title it.
Okay.
Mulan and Belle.
Hey, drop the name of the book
drop a
in
name,
the titles.
Because here would be my goal with it is I don't think I started overcoming some of the challenges I faced, either concerning leadership or purpose, until I actually addressed my stuff. And I think that each personality tool gives you the opportunity to assess and address your stuff, your you-ness, what makes you unique, what is kind of like your fingerprint, the impact you're going to leave, the weight you're going to leave in the world as you kind of move through it, can all be better, managed and known through personality tests. So like I have gathered the people that introduced me to the Enneagram, or even like I know that we have a common friend with Jeff Johnson, and he's going to talk a little bit about strengths. I have some friends who talk about spiritual gifts. I mean, I have someone who was the first doctoral program from UT Austin that incorporates Myers-Briggs, and she's written like tons and tons of documents on Myers-Briggs. So I want to bring them all together and say, hey, here's why it matters for you to know you, and here's the different arenas and pockets in your life where you understanding you better will actually empower you to perform better.
That's right. If you need a BuzzFeed Pro, I've got you.
Okay, yes.
But I love that we get to catch you like in the middle of this process where you're digging into this and really wrestling with this topic. Here's my I'm trying to redeem my Mulan self, right? So Sun Tzu, Art of War, like know yourself and know your enemy and you'll win 1,000 battles. And that's kind of this whole personality journey, right?
Maybe he is Mulan.
Yeah.
I mean, you may be Belle.
Good one, Zach. Good one.
That was good. Well done.
Score one for the home team.
Well, so what do you? Now you've helped a lot of people. You counsel people one-on-one, pastor people, however you want to, whatever word bucket you want to call it.
Whatever you want to call it.
Right? You can quickly understand and assess where somebody is and how to help move them forward, and do so with encouragement and wisdom and energy, and so. These are all like basic natural talents of yours. So where do you find the Enneagram most useful for people? Like, why do people need to take it and start studying this right now?
So first of all, I'm just going to bring you everywhere with me, because if you just would encourage me like that all the time.
Okay,
it's like Aaron's role for you guys here. This is So if I'm trying to distinguish, or I'm trying to convince someone, because at first I want to acknowledge that the Enneagram is super trendy. And for some reason, like out of Nashville and Austin, there's like a gazillion podcasts, a gazillion authors, and it's been super monetized, even though it's been around for forever, right? So I get why people have a rub with it. And like, it's just this thing that everybody's into. But I think the separating difference for me would be other tools kind of give you like, hey, here's your strengths and here's your weaknesses, right? The Enneagram says, here's your strengths and weaknesses, and this is how they actually work together. And this is why they work together. But like all the tools, and this is my analogy I always use, it's like any tool, right? Like I can have a hammer, I can misuse a hammer, or I can use a hammer well. So for me, the Enneagram, yes, it does dip back into your childhood stuff. Yes, it does kind of start with maybe the darker stuff. It's kind of at its root is kind of a depressing tool. I'm probably not doing a good job of selling it. But I think it's because it's saying like, hey, all that stuff that you either walked through or life used to shape you has its own purpose. And actually that thing that's been your Achilles heel, that thing that's been the common denominator in your struggles and your tensions around leadership or around even just working in general probably actually has a purpose. Like even your weakness has a purpose.
That's good. I remember, so there's 9 different types, right? And everybody falls within those 9 different types. They exist within triads, and you have wings and all sorts of things, right?
I don't even know why I'm here. Zach's got this.
That's it. I mean, you pretty much got the Enneagram at this point.
There we go. Good.
But they told me to read through the 9 types when I was first digging into this, right? And they said the one that makes you uncomfortable and it stings a little bit, maybe you're crying at the end of that chat, like that's probably your number.
Yeah.
And so I totally get that. It can be a little dark.
You should feel totally exposed. Like someone finally told you all that stuff that everybody's actually already known about you forever. But we're just going to pretend like we didn't know. But you just read it and you're like, oh, crap.
Have you seen people, because this sounds like it gets pretty deep, pretty personal. Have you seen people use this in the workplace?
Yeah, actually there's, yes, I have. There are some people that I even have like whole curriculum based around it in the workplace.
Okay.
I know for me, because I discovered it in a time when I had a lot of work drama or trauma, honestly. I think we don't talk enough about like work grief and work trauma because you spend a lot of time at work and sometimes work sucks. And so a friend of mine actually introduced me to this probably about 10 years ago. And it really helped me understand, that's why every time I encounter that personality or that situation, that creates tension. I'm actually made for that to create tension in me. I've just not managed it well. So I think actually you could bring it into a workplace and you'd be surprised how transformative it could be. But like any tool, again, if you don't practice with it, if you don't learn to use it well, and you don't take time. Like I love that someone told you, like just read all of them first. Because people just want to go online, take the quiz, and be done. Yeah. And it's like, no, sit with all of them for a second. Because it's not just about you learning your type. It's also about you understanding my type, because it's going to make you
that's good.
better with me. Yeah. Right?
That's how you use it at work. It starts by being an exercise in like self-awareness. You understand yourself. And then as you start to understand how you're uniquely wired, you understand that other people are uniquely wired also. And so you can give them a little bit more grace and understand they're not bad. They're just different than you are.
Yeah, actually, or they're not doing that to you.
Right.
Like, they're not like, Zach's not at work, like trying to be Zach at me. Like Zach's being Zach and operating in things that it's kind of like an autopilot. He doesn't maybe even isn't aware of how he's operating. And the reason it drives me crazy is because I'm not Zach. So, but he's not trying to Zach to me.
So this is good. So we're talking about applying it individually, but also to a group, to an organization. And so this is an interesting segue to what I want you to do next, and what I asked you to do next. So, so I want you in this next round here.
Are we doing the list?
Yeah, we're doing the list.
Okay.
I've asked Jen to prepare what she would say to each type. Each is it a type or is it a number? Am I getting it wrong?
Yes.
So the reason it is numbers is because, like you
teach
have
number. Okay.
Yeah, so you can identify with the number versus identify with the title. Now, what happens over time, and I'm sure Zach's seen curriculum that's like, number 1, you're the perfectionist. Well, automatically I have a vision in my head of what perfectionist is, right? But number 1 is supposed to be a 1, so you don't pay attention to that word. Yeah. But we attach words to everything.
Okay, so before you go through and say what you would say to each number.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I want everybody to visualize as they're hearing this, Jen in your office leading your team, and the encouragement that everybody is going to get. The aha moments, the I never thought about it that way kind of moments that tend to shift an atmosphere, that speak into culture, that show us, man, maybe we all have our strengths and issues, and if we learn to come together more, we can get things done. So I'm a big believer that all aspects of society need training like this. Yeah. And so, okay, let's have it. Okay. 1 through 9, right?
1 through 9. We can go in any order. But you want to start with 1 because it just makes sense?
I'm a Myers-Briggs J. Let's go linear in order.
Okay.
1 through 9.
So you had said, like, if you could just give a few sentences to each number, specifically speaking to each number as a leader. So like you are a manager of people. You are responsible for projects and or personnel or resources or some capacity. People have to look to you in order for you to kind of guide them, right? So here's the
yes, and I'll add to that. A leader is a person of influence. Everybody listening to this has some degree of influence. So I believe you can apply this to anything.
You know, before we started, you said I would find something that would probably, you got sassy there. You're like, you're like, yes.
Well, I just don't want people to check out if they're like, oh, but I'm not a leader. No, you will have influence over human beings on this planet.
If I tell people all the time, I'm like, just think about it even in your friendships or even in a parenting scenario. Like I am my number at home too. Yeah. So dealing any pocket I have influence. Okay. So if you're, I'm just going to say the number. Okay. Go. So ones, and I was telling Zach and Joe that I realized I reread this a couple of times, was like, I've basically developed a shit sandwich. Like, I'm like, so someone told me once that I do that naturally. And I didn't realize that was really, really true until I read this, which is like, hey, this is awesome, but there's this sticking point you might want to pay attention to. But so you'll hear that.
We will put the definition of shit sandwich in the show notes. So go.
Okay, good.
1.
All right. So if you're a 1, you're going to bring a lot of integrity to your role. You're going to bring a lot of integrity to your leadership and to your influence, and you're going to have a commitment to excellence. But you need to be kind of on guard for the reality that your expectations are insane, and not everybody has. And I'm saying this, and here's why I can be harsher on ones, because I am. And you, sometimes your expectations feel like judgments. And what you feel is like your way of fixing or adjusting a scenario feels like critique and condemnation. So the great thing is you're going to bring reformation, you're going to bring change, and you can actually really grow someone and develop someone. But man, it's going to feel like it's never going to be good enough.
Okay, wow, it sounds like use that ambition to bring change, but don't be an asshole in the process.
Right. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, let's do this. Yes, I love that. You take everyone and just simplify it.
Jen's going to say it beautifully.
I love it. No, I love that. I want that. Okay. Yes.
All right, good.
And I wish, because here's the thing, is I wish someone had told me that. And like, especially in my early 30s, like if someone would have just looked at me and been like, and they wouldn't have used the A word, they would probably would have used a different word, right? And they would have said, stop being that, because that's not really who you are trying to be, but that's how you are coming across, because you're not.
Wait, are you a 1?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you just did that. You walked right into that. So I'm going to try really hard not to be an a-hole at work. I actually the other day met someone for the first time. Okay. And they were like, oh, Jen's a 1. And, because they were familiar with the Enneagram. And he was like, well, it means I already know a ton about you. And I was like, well, at least they didn't say I was an 8. And then I made some comments about 8s. And then he was like, my wife's an 8. Oh. I was like, oh, shit. Yes.
my dead mother's an 8.
No,
I'll pray for you.
Okay, number 2.
All right, number two. So 2s are so encouraging and so helpful, and have the gift of empathy, and want to see others thrive and be successful and grow, but they have to check their motivators as to why, because it can be manipulative. Because if I want you to grow and succeed because it makes me feel like I have worth and value, which is not inherently terrible on the surface, right? But you have to be aware of like, okay, so why am I really doing this? Because that could easily become enabling. And I'm actually, becoming codependent. There's all sorts of things that can kind of manifest from that if I'm not aware of why I'm helping. Make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
But
that doesn't sound as bad as a 1.
Oh.
I'm screwed up in a better way.
Yes.
Do you think that a lot of Christians or a lot of even ladies would mistype as a 2 just because it feels like the right answer?
I feel like people always want to be a 2 or a 9. So when everybody's like, I took the Enneagram and I'm a 2, I'm like, sure, of course you are.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants to be a 2 and a 9 because they're sweet. They're labeled as, the 2s are often labeled as the helper, and the 9s are often labeled as the peacemaker. And that sounds great. I don't know statistically how often that actually, I have people ask me like, well, which number do you think would most killers would be? Like if you were going to kill someone, what number would you probably be? I was like, all numbers can kill. It's why we might kill you.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting.
Oh yeah, every number, like a 2 could kill you because I need you to need me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry, a little dark there.
What was that movie?
Sleeping
it was like
with
a
the
writer,
enemy?
like she busts up that guy's knee so he can't leave.
Misery.
Yeah.
Oh wow, we should go back and
Okay.
I don't know.
So he was a 2?
No, I think it would be her.
I've never seen it.
Her. She was a 2.
Yep.
Kathy Bates.
She take care. I don't know.
But these like
man.
This is like on
I don't know.
VHS, guys.
We're totally just making this up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All
Like
right.
VHS, like the Emperor's New
Wait,
Groove.
I'm gonna think about the rest of this episode, like which type would
Which
be most
type?
prone to be a killer.
Threes.
You're all gonna
Go.
kill
Carry on.
threes.
What
Okay.
about threes?
So threes are very achievement oriented. They're very goal oriented. They're tasks. They're about efficiency. They're very success. They're very driven. But you have to be careful because again, people aren't means to an end. And sometimes if a three isn't careful, all that success and all those goals and all that achievement can be like, I'm climbing a ladder, but I forget to bring people with me and I just start stepping on people a little bit. So you take that influence and people are going to be naturally drawn to threes because they are typically just really engaging. They're magnets, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're very charismatic often. But you don't want to get in a position where your influence is like a mile wide but an eighth of an inch deep. Right, you don't want to be shallow, and a three can run a risk of being shallow.
I think I like threes.
I've always heard threes make the best employees. I think you would love
Really?
threes.
Okay.
That's what I was told.
Oh, it's so. Oh, okay,
It's
okay.
that dynamic, go getter, make it happen.
They are
vision,
very.
vision. I'm married to a three.
Okay, they are very. They are very.
And
dynamic.
I just hired your wife.
You did.
See, I didn't
Hey.
even know that. I
Well,
never made that connection.
You're already using the Enneagram.
I
and you don't
am.
even know it.
I know.
Yeah.
I just need more threes.
You need to put that on the job application.
Okay.
But I think-
Also, probably most likely to be a killer.
No.
Ah,
no.
she's a redhead.
But some of them hurt my heart because I think that they can get wrapped up in that their productivity is equated to their value. Like you are not as good as the stuff you get done.
Yeah.
Like there's more to you than even just the tasks that you get
Okay,
done.
I'm having fun now. Enneagram is
Good.
fun. But tell us how messed up fours are.
Oh, fours. Whew, okay, fours.
If you want to
So-
hire threes.
Well, fours are great if you want someone who, let's think about like a trendsetter or someone who can forecast things, who can see. They make things popular before they're popular. They are they can recognize beauty, both aesthetic and just all different kinds of beauty, just instinctually. They're very, very unique. But their drive to be unique can actually have them being kind of like the emotional vampires of the Enneagram. It's like it's never enough.
Oh my gosh. I think our creative director of this podcast is a 4. Aaron Alba, you a 4?
Aaron.
Take the test. You're a 2?
Oh, sure
No,
you
you've
are.
missed-
Sure
You
you
re-
are.
you remember
Yeah,
the
you're a 2 or a
mistyping thing?
9.
Yeah.
Blessed are the helpers.
Oh,
Okay. Okay. Sorry. Emotional
so a
vampire.
4, a 4 would be super unique. You would want them, especially if you're in like a kind of a branding environment, because they're gonna have the best ideas, super creative. But man, they need to be seen, and if they need to feel unique. So if all of a sudden they feel like someone comes in and maybe casts a shadow, there can be some pretty like vicious claws that come out. Oh, am I
Definitely a 4.
Yeah.
sorry? Did that hurt? If it hurts, it's probably
Did
real,
that sting,
right?
buddy? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they tend to isolate, look inward, right? Like if I'm emotionally stunted as a 7, they have a full range of emotions on steroids.
Yes. Yeah. So think about like the kind of dramatic. Not only can they see the dramatic, they have a flair for it. So their emotional roller coasters can be.
Okay. Love it.
The opposite of you.
Okay. I'm a 5. Let's talk about me.
Okay. So that's what when you
The
took your
good things.
test. Okay.
Yeah.
So 5s are great, super smart,
I knew it.
usually very intelligent,
Yeah.
very
Go on.
knowledgeable.
Yeah,
Go on
For
more.
sure.
But they also, I would have not guessed you as a 5, just so you know, just like on
Oh.
first impressions. We've had a few interactions,
Yes.
but no, so
All I heard is I'm smart and intelligent.
so a 5 would be
Also
like,
most
you
likely to
can't-
be a serial
Yeah.
killer.
I wonder actually, because they kind of get up in their head and they get stuck,
Okay.
right? Because
yes.
they have all that information, very private, and kind of hoard the information, kind of keep it inside themselves until they feel super safe and super secure. And I would just say to them, if that would be
Them.
you. I wouldn't
assume
have.
it's not me.
Okay,
What'd you
Hey,
tell
no.
me?
hey,
Tell me
remember
something.
what he said about ones? Let loose.
Yeah.
Oh,
Fling some
Yeah,
sandwiches,
I did
girl.
call you an asshole, so go
Thank
ahead.
you.
Go for it.
Thank you very much. I would just say you can't know everything, and you can't be prepared for everything. I'm going to say that a little bit to 6s too, but 5s have this, it's not always going to be what you know, and you can't think your way through every scenario.
Okay, if I can't think my way through every scenario, do I feel my way through every scenario?
I mean,
what do I
think-
do?
And Zach
Yeah.
mentioned these triads,
Yeah.
right? These things that kind of come in groups of 3, which is the heart, the head, and the gut.
Yeah.
So you are going to lead with one, kind of figuring out where you are in that. And I would just say, just don't neglect the others. You are naturally going to want information. 5s are naturally going to feel secure when they know the things. and they feel comfortable in the things. But also, don't neglect that. Like, that's part of your gift. But the curse of your gift is that, like, you demand that everybody else feels secure and know all the things. And maybe indirectly, but sometimes just, like, relax and just go with your gut, which would freak out a 5. A 5 would be like, my gut's not trustworthy. But I'd be like, well, just lean into that every now and then and see how that feels.
The gut is deceitful above all else.
All right.
But 5, 6s, and 7s, thinking triad, right? Or like head.
Yep. 8,
And
9.
so we overlap in that.
Okay. All right. 6s. Are we on the 6s?
Yep.
Okay.
So 6s are known as the loyalist, and they are so great. This is who will these are your do or die, ride or die. So, like, these are your people who are going to be with you. They're everything, but they're also super terrified. So what do we do when we're afraid? We fight, or we freeze, or we fly, right? So 6s kind of have this weird dynamic where they can kind of go in a bunch of different directions. So, but think about those people that are always prepared for worst case scenarios. Okay. They are prepared. These are the people that when you go to a restaurant, they sit where they can view the exits because they are assessing situations all the time. So they're great to be on the team because they are watching for what could come your way and what could do damage. But that means also, like, trust, and you can't be prepared for everything. You can't always know when an attack's going to come or when some kind of, like, tension or stress is going to hit you. You can't be prepared for all the things.
Okay. So zombie apocalypse, you want 6s.
You want, yep.
Yeah.
Ish? No?
Yes,
Okay.
unless they're the ones that just freeze. Then
Oh,
it's not going to
that's
go
a
well.
bad kind of 6.
Yes.
We don't want you.
No, it's not. It's not bad. There's not a bad 6.
Okay,
They're all
all
so
right.
great.
Okay, you are wonderful people.
You're all
They
wonderful.
make great zombie bait. Wait, there's 2 types, right?
This
Phobic and counterphobic.
Yeah, so the Enneagram, as it has, come in more and more, like, popular and a part of culture, there are so many different schools of it, right? So for some schools, there are actually 2 of each number. For some, there are people just have one wing. Other schools believe you have both wings. I mean, it can get kind of complex. When people come at me with, like, oh, well, there's all these different kinds of 3s and 4s and 5s and 6s, I'm like, it's too many numbers. I'm just going to stick to the 9. Just 9 makes sense for me. So yes, but there are. The one I have seen the most of this dualistic number is the 6. This is a counterphobic 6, which would be the ones who fight. These are probably your most stubborn and, like, dig your heels in people, but they're doing so because they're really actually terrified. The other balance of that 6 would look more like anxiety and fear and, like, freeze.
Good stuff. I think we're on to Zach now. 7?
I'm a 9.
No,
of course,
he's a 7.
a 2 or
I
9.
tied 9 and 2.
He's a 7.
I love it when people do that.
Yeah,
So
I'm a
7s are I love being around 7s because they're like the kids, right? They bring joy,
Yes.
they bring play, they bring fun, they bring energy, they bring hope. They also, though, maybe sometimes seem a little immature and flighty.
Yeah.
That can sometimes how they.
And they always have a
say
messy
yes
room.
to that.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
I agree.
okay.
Check.
They're always looking for what's next.
Okay.
So, which is great. If you're wanting to, like, partner with someone who's going to push you forward in your dreams, you want a 7 because they're going to believe in you and they're going to soar with you. But also as a 7, like, calm down. Maybe it doesn't always have to be fun and it doesn't always have to be good because they can kind of get into, like, I call it, like, a just keep swimming mode where it's like, oh, nothing's bad. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. It's like, well, no, there are some bad things. There are some tensions, there are stresses, there are struggles, and it's okay to sit in that for a minute. But a 7 would be like, we can sit for a second, but we got to move on. It's like, no.
Yeah, that's a mic drop right there, bro. That's you.
Oh,
Are you
That's
sure?
100% you.
Yeah. No, I'm a
110% maybe.
master in reframing. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I was reluctant going into this, and then when I read a 7, I was like,
Okay.
nailed it.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 more. 8s.
8s are the number on the Enneagram that hear their description and they're like, hell yeah. Right? Like, every other number feels a little, like, exposed and a little, like, wounded, but 8s are like, I don't see the problem. Why would not everybody want to be like that? There is no one I would rather have in a battle. Like, I want no one else in my corner other than an 8. But what I would say to them is not everything is a battle. Not everything is a fight or a thing to be won or a thing to be challenged. They're very black and white thinkers, so they're also great people to have around you. If you are someone who, if you're a 4, you definitely want them. They'll calm you the heck down. If you're a 1, they'll challenge you to. If you're a 2, if you're a 1, they'll challenge you to stop trying to fix everybody. Let everybody else. My 8 friends are always like, why you gotta like take care of everybody else? Just let everybody else deal with their own shit. It's like, okay, thank you, 8 friend who just sees the world like this, but that's not how we all see the world. So you want 8s around you, but they are also, bless their hearts, and I mean that in the most genuine, like Southern sense possible, because like people just generally don't like them. They're very abrasive. Especially female 8s are I'm sorry. So because
the 4 is
women
married to an 8.
Well, women in particular, and it's not fair because they're strong. They're strong personalities, and women, we can be so difficult on each other. But when a woman that is not an 8 encounters a female 8, it feels like she's too tough, and it does something. I don't know how to explain it.
Interesting.
It's probably like some unhealthy gender norms there, right? Like ladies are supposed to be 2s.
Yes, ladies are the helpers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that it probably is a little bit of that, but also just because they are so blunt. Like they're the ones that look at you and be like, no, I didn't like that. And you're like, no, you're supposed to like fluff that up a little bit. You're supposed to do the shit sandwich. You're supposed to tell me a nice thing, then the bad thing, then the nice thing. And 8s are like, that's a waste of time. I don't do drama. I don't do fluff. Like we just say it like it is. Mm-hmm. It's pointless to not.
I affectionately referred to some 8s in my life as 8-holes.
Yes.
Ooh.
I hear that all the time.
Yeah.
Yep.
These are good. Okay, 9.
Okay.
9. Last.
Not everybody wants to be a 2 or a 9, and 9s are peacemakers.
Oh.
So if you need someone who can bring people together and everybody feels valued and respected and heard, you want a 9 alongside you. 9s are beautiful leaders. However, often they don't end up in higher levels of leadership because they don't fight or push for it because they don't really think their voice has a lot of worth or value. So they're like, they don't mind being in the background, and they say that, and I think that's genuine and that's part of their gift. But the curse of that gift is, what if you do have something to bring? What if you do have an opinion the world needs to hear? What if you do have something that will actually influence someone to better themselves, and you're a 9 and you don't want to rock the boat, so you just go along to get along, and you could miss something in that.
Yeah. Your little spiel in the beginning about everybody being leaders. Yeah. Everybody that's for the 9s.
Yes, because a 9 would be like, yeah, but not really. There are other people who are going to do those things, like 8s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, of all the things I've heard on Enneagrams, this has got to be the best summary I've ever heard. And I didn't have to listen to a 5-hour podcast to figure it out. This is good stuff.
Good.
Zach, do you have anything you want to throw in here?
No, this is good stuff.
Okay.
See, now you're going to go and you're going to like dig into your childhood wounds. And
no, I'm not. No, I mean, all I heard is I'm smart and intelligent.
Okay, I'm going to send you some stuff.
Yes. So I'm good to go.
Okay, you're good. Yep. You know all the things.
Yeah,
you're good.
I'm good.
Okay.
So what do you do with this information? So I'll say a couple of things here as we wrap up. I think overall what you're learning from, if you're following us and the podcast, is you need to create space to know you really well. And there's a lot of ways to begin that journey or continue that journey for most of you. Obviously, if you have not been to our website yet, you need to go to purposepro.org and see the multiple ways to get started on that journey. But Enneagrams, reaching out to folks like Jen here who can give you specific guidance, direction, work with your team, groups, come in and deliver inspiring messages to your organization. You want to be following what she's putting out there. And so I want everybody at minimum to follow Jennifer at jennifermazzola.com. That's 2 Z's, Mazzola.
Yeah, good job.
jennifermazzola.com. And on there, you can subscribe to letters that you send out, because people want to be in the know of, like, I know you don't email out as much.
I know, I need to be better.
Should.
I know.
But when you do send out, I'm sure it's thoughtful, thorough, and really good. And plus, people want to know more about when this book's coming out, how to get a hold of you, all that kind of good stuff.
Okay.
So that's jennifermazzola.com. And then the fun part to do is just like kind of creep on her on Instagram, Facebook, like see what her family's doing, and maybe just show up for dinner one night. She loves that, right?
Well, if I'm a 1, so I'd be like, I'd want to know so I could like get the house picked up. Yep.
Okay.
That's good. Where did you
just
pull
gonna put
that
like?
from?
Should we put like?
I was just thinking, we sit here and we give people's contact information, but
you should give addresses and have people just show up at front doors.
Yeah, I mean, but the whole planet.
We'll put it in the show notes.
The whole planet is like on every social media with like you can find anyone anywhere.
This is true.
So
yeah.
This is true.
I just thought it'd be funny if they showed up at our house. I didn't give your address. They're gonna have to hunt for that.
I would. That's actually hilarious. If it happens, I'm calling you.
Oh, this is good. All right.
Can I share a story? Just because I haven't shared it and I want to share it.
Do it.
On the internet with everybody. Okay, so 2 days ago, I almost got in a fight in a Walgreens parking lot while wearing women's clothing.
Wait, what?
Okay, good. Yes.
So here's what happened.
Maybe
Caitlin,
you are Mulan. That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm a warrior,
Yeah,
dang
you're
it.
a warrior that cross-dresses. I love it.
Oh, that's real. Haha.
Okay.
Belle. Okay, so Caitlin calls me. She's coming home from Walgreens, and she tells me that a big white truck is following her, tailgating her, pulling up beside her, like following her into our neighborhood to the house. And I'm like, I'm heading to the front lawn. And so I'm like, just pull in the driveway. I'll see you there. So I stand in the driveway and I wait for her. She pulls up, like throws the car in park. A truck goes flying by, and I'm like, go inside the house. So as she goes inside the house, I get in the car. I don't know why I got in the car, but I get in the car and I start following the truck down the road. And as I'm driving, I start to like come coherent. And what am I going to do if I catch this guy? I like the dog chasing the car. I really don't know. But I've got this trash stash, and I'm like, just look crazy. I'm just going to look crazy, let my eye twitch a little bit. Maybe I'll scare him enough. He'll think I have a gun or something. And I don't know what my plan is. Anyways, he pulls over in the parking lot, and I just swerve by. And then he cuts me off. He pulls up in front of me, and he says, I'm sorry. I had the wrong girl. I thought it was someone else. And I was like, yeah, you did.
Oh, yeah. You were.
Thank you for apologizing. Have a great day.
Wow.
And the whole time I'm just sitting there thinking, like, if I have to get out of the car in the parking lot and fight a guy while I'm wearing women's shorts, because
wait.
that would okay.
Why? Did we even?
I like how you just skipped over that.
Barry in the lead. I need to clarify here.
What did I just tell everybody?
When Caitlin calls me, I just throw on the first thing I find. So I see a pair of blue shorts. I think they're mine, and then I realize they're about 2 inches shorter than mine. And so I'm showing all thigh, and I was wearing Caitlin's shorts.
Okay.
So even back up before that, though, so you just didn't have clothes on when she got home? Because you're like, hey, someone calls me and I need to throw on some clothes. Like you were just...
I was at home.
I mean, I know we got quarantine and COVID and Zoom meetings, but like, you're just pantsless at home.
I was business from the waist up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There's so many layers to that. I think you could do an episode just on that.
There's
the purpose between.
That must be a 7 thing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. We'll cut this early, but
no, we're leaving this in.
Thank you for letting me share.
We're leaving this in.
Aaron, you're gonna leave that, right?
Yeah, he totally is. All right, Jen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
you guys are fun.
You're amazing. People need to follow you, and we'll make. We're gonna in the show notes. If you want to know the Enneagram link, the Disney Princess link, the Jennifer Mazzola link. Those are all very valuable links.
Yes.
They're in the show notes.
Click the links.
I will say, just to kind of go back, because I'm thinking, like, the Bell thing, if fives are, like, all about knowledge, they're very intellectual, love to read, that does make sense.
Yeah,
maybe BuzzFeed's
your Audible book list is pretty long.
All right, Belle's kind of a tomboy, so it's fine.
You do kind of hoard information.
Yeah,
okay.
I'll own that.
Okay.
Okay.
Very private. Belle was very... Are you, like, super, like...
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll hold most of the stuff in my head.
Yeah.
Okay. That's healthy. Keep doing that. All right.
We gotta go. This is amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
We'll do something again soon.
Okay.